In the tradition of character-driven crime sagas like The Sopranos and Scarface, the new Starz series Power gives us a magnetic leading man who lives outside the law. Let's take a look.
I got too much going on now to go into hiding. The kids, the club.
Oh, wait, so now the club dictates what we do with the real business instead of the other way around? And we open up the laundromats to clean the money. I was fine with that. But then you said, let's open up a nightclub so we could hide even more. So I agreed to hide the money, period.
What if it could be more than that, though, man? What if it's our retirement plan?
Wow, well, here with more to talk about Power is the show star Omari Hardwick and showrunner Courtney Kemp Agboh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. So excited.
You know that we're huge fans.
Yes, already.
I hosted a screening of the show.
Yes, you did.
That's how
Thank you.
huge a
Thank
fan
you so
I am.
much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It was an
Tastemaker
honor.
for days.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Omari.
that.
So I know what the show's about.
Yes.
It's about a drug kingpin who's trying to go legit, but you know that's always easier said than done. So tell us more about your character, Omari.
Well, you know, Courtney Kemp Agboh, affectionately known by me as CKA, or my GM. When we first sat down and talked about this guy, we talked about obvious duplicitous, complex characters of the past, and she and I both being very literary in our desire to break down character. We thought about a Shakespearean character, the tragic fall of, you know, any characters that you've seen from Othello to Macbeth, and all of these characters that we, in part, have seen over the years, from Scarface, played by Al Pacino, or different characters of that nature. We thought, well, this guy, what made him different is that at the onset, or the inception of the show, he's breaking good, as Courtney likes to say. And we see a guy on the rise of trying to outrun his dirty past, quote-unquote dirty past, and become someone that's clean, and someone that's not necessarily trying to be as Pablo Escobar, and now more righteous in his endeavors in life. But, you know, it speaks to definite complex characters that we've seen in the past. And I'm juggling many, many different colors in this one guy.
Yeah, and you're doing it well.
Yeah, and you mentioned Scarface, but it's sort of like your Scarface with a heart. You know, we see the human side of you and you wanting better for your family. So what really drew you to the role? Was it that you get to play so many levels?
Absolutely, yeah. He's able to be Cliff Huxtable one moment and pieces of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and other moments, and obvious pieces of myself. Ironically, we touch on the father relationship that we touch on it. Courtney touches on it in the pilot episode where you see him alluding to the fact that his father had this incredible nightclub, and that's kind of his dream. And so there's pieces of, as the end of the pilot has a homage to Courtney's father, there's pieces of her father in it as well. So.
Now, Courtney, you created this show, and we have to talk about just how do you come up with something like this? I mean, I know you as a writer before, and not as a girl who's in the drug kingpin world.
No?
You mean you didn't know?
I didn't know. Were you slinging rock when you were at Mademoiselle?
No, although that's a great story, and someday I will write that story.
Yeah.
No, actually, I mean, I'm from Connecticut, so I really wasn't slinging rock at all.
Okay, so how does a good girl from Connecticut end up writing about this nefarious underworld?
Well, part of it is that my passion has always been crime drama. I mean, I grew up watching Law and Order, and that was like my favorite thing, and The Cosby Show too, which is why there's some Cliff Huxtable. But I would also say that I'm interested in things that are high stakes. I mean, my career in television has all been pretty much law or some kind of show with somebody shooting a gun, because that's the kind of thing that I'm interested in. I mean, I'm also interested in romance. I'm also interested in family. So all of those elements are in the show. But when it comes down to it, the show is basically a mix of 50 Cent's rise, you know, him coming out of Queens like Ghost does, like the character does, and making it all the way, and my own father, who grew up with very little money and made his way all the way through the advertising world. So it's about that American dream, which is really basic and anyone can understand.
Let's talk about 50 Cent.
Yeah.
What's he like to have as a boss? 50.
Well, he is a wonderful collaborator. He's unbelievable. I mean,
Yes, my boss, not her boss.
He is, I mean, there's two aspects, and we can both speak to the different aspects. Before the show, we were really developing and working together. So we would be on the phone for hours and hours and hours talking about different aspects of his life. And obviously, you know, it's research for me, because the things that are accurate about the life, about the hustle, those all come from 50. Those don't come from me, obviously. That's not my personal background. And then as an EP, as a support to the actors.
He was active, you know,
Really?
and that's all you really want. You know, you want someone who's very much a participant in the process, Conversations that were supposed to be an hour long on the phone would extend to 3 to 4 hour conversations
Really?
constantly.
Yeah.
And you pick up the phone, and even if it's not about me, as a number one, Courtney and Fitty gave me the responsibility of making sure I'm taking care of the entire cast. So there were times that I felt like other cast members might have needed a level of moral support. They might not have the same intimate relationship that Courtney and I've obviously developed with them. So I would just say, maybe come down to the set and just give your presence. It's underrated in terms of how present somebody's presence can be. And so for him, who's as magnanimous as his lengthy cachet of what he's done in life, you kind of need a guy like that to be around. It makes everybody work a little bit harder because he never sleeps and he's constantly working. So,
Right.
Well, how did he
very active.
personally help you prepare to play this role so believably as you do?
He reminded me, thank you, first off, for that. That's very humbling. He reminded me first and foremost, Omari, you have a lot of the colors that are in this guy anyway, in terms of the complexities, not necessarily in terms of the extremity of pharmaceutical distribution.
Not that you should be killing folks. or anything like that.
Greater parts of
Is that
Manhattan.
what we call drug dealing these
Why-
days?
Yeah,
why
yeah,
not?
pharmaceutical distribution, yes.
Throughout the greater parts of Manhattan.
nice.
He's
But
a pharmaceutical entrepreneur.
That's right. I like that.
Yeah, pharmaceutical entrepreneur.
But he,
Just
he
like
just
Pfizer.
he would just
Just like.
he would just remind me, that a lot of stuff is there, and Courtney and I, we wouldn't have put our money on you as a horse if we didn't see it in you. But also just the fact that less a couple opportunities that didn't go his way as a kid, that in Southside Jamaica, Queens, he wouldn't have necessarily flown the way that we as a nation knew him to fly wrongly. That he would have actually been a kid who was going right into a dream that was more positive. And so just the reminder that everybody in life doesn't have the same silver palette to jump off of or to eat off of.
Courtney, how did you even link up with 50? I mean, again, good girl from Connecticut. How do you and 50?
It was at a concert backstage.
Yeah.
It was her birthday.
I was dropping it like it was
obviously.
hot. No.
story.
I mean, the thing is, the truth, the very basic truth, is that Mark and 50, Mark Canton, who's one of our EPs, he's the guy behind 300 and Mortals and has this great storied history in Hollywood. Mark and 50 were having a conversation about creating a music-driven television show.
Okay.
And then they sort of, through my agents, found me, and we had this great initial meeting.
Okay.
And you don't know what you're going to get when you walk into a meeting with a superstar. I mean, you guys have had the same experience.
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
you have a superstar come in, you're like, you don't know what you're going to get.
Oh, no, I interviewed 50 for the New York Times, as you know. And
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was walking
But here's the great thing about him is
He's a
that
pleasant surprise.
you think you're going to meet 50 Cent, and then you meet Curtis Jackson.
Oh, and he's so charismatic.
And he's charismatic. He's also brilliant. He's also an incredible storyteller.
And raw and truthful.
And raw and truthful. And we connected right away. And I have to say, it's been one of the most fulfilling creative collaborations of my career, bar none, because he is so present. And so
open.
willing and open. And he's given me parts of his life to play with that. Things I wouldn't have told anybody about myself. You know, he's been really honest with
His
me.
level of security has
Yeah,
been
he's pretty great.
fabulous.
And by the way, just to say level of security, when he shows up on set, he doesn't bring a giant entourage. It's him.
Really?
It's him.
Just
he
him.
he
That's
shows up.
changed.
Yeah, he just.
Does he get involved and say, no, I don't like the way that, well, let's try it this way, or it wouldn't have really went that way?
He's respectful of the
Hold
process.
the gun that way.
He's respectful of the process in a really good way, but also because he's an executive producer, he's read all the scripts, you know,
Okay.
before we even get to set. So he's already familiar with the material. So if there's something that he doesn't think works, he's going to call me when he gets the script. You know what I mean? He's going to say, this doesn't work. So.
All right, Omari, let's talk about your football playing past. I had no idea.
What?
Yeah.
Why are you not doing your research?
I did my research, and that's
All right.
how I know. Also
right.
know that you have a poetry past, too, which we'll get to. But you you were signed and made it to the NFL, and then an injury.
An injury to my
that.
left knee ended that. Yeah, I was.
Were you devastated when that happened?
I wouldn't say devastated. I was a free agent and brought on by Bobby Ross. Shout outs to him. He was actually, we shared an agent at the time, Jack Real, but he was the coach at Georgia Tech when I was coming out of high school in Atlanta, Georgia. So he gave me a shot, 4 years later when I was now trying to get in the NFL. He gave me that shot. And so I was there for about 6 to 7 months and then got cut. And I minored in theater and majored in broadcast journalism, thinking I was going to be in your position.
His position.
And so your positions of asking these questions.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it and I thought, and the poetry was always sort of underneath me. So subtextually, I felt like a poet. And then felt like this artsy athlete, and that's sort of an enigmatic thing in and of itself. And so
It's an oxymoron
it's
for a lot of people.
it's interesting. So I found my way to New York, and moms and pops, you know, gave me their blessing, and I was on couches from Harlem to Crown Heights and everywhere in between, and I just felt like I had a story to tell, and it wasn't necessarily being a pastor like my mom predicted.
Wow, pastor.
It's a pulpit, but it's a different pulpit, you know.
Well, you almost were a firefighter as well, but you decided to follow your dream. Tell us that real quick.
I was
that
already
story.
following my dreams. That was just a girlfriend, and you know what happens, man. She was concerned about the roller coaster of pursuing this and thought you need a backup. And to me, if you have a backup, you'll back up. And so I let it go eventually, and one day, Courtney in 50 said, "Come meet with me, and I'll give you a show, and I'll put your face all over the place."
And as you can see, it is.
Here we are.
So, Courtney, how did you know that he was right for the role?
Oh, well, there's a good story, which is that when we first brought the project to Stars, they were like, well, how do we cast it? Because it is so multicultural and so has so much dimension. And so I made this binder of actors who could play the top 4 parts. So, you know, Ghost, Tommy, Tasha, and Leela, Angela. And
She'd been in writing sessions.
I'm writing, yeah. So on the top of that binder, the first person, if you open it right now, it hasn't changed, is Omari Hardwick. Because you need someone who is brilliant, you need someone who is charismatic and can be a lover and can hold a gun in a way that you think is authentic. And you also feel...
You need a crazy ass dude.
I should try to say that in a nice way.
Multifaceted. There you go. That's the word, multifaceted. You need someone who can do all of that. And there are a lot of actors who can do 1 or 2 of those things, you know, who can be a lover and a fighter, but not somebody that you believe can make a split-second business decision. Someone who can pass in all of the different worlds, you know. That's the thing that I really appreciate about Omari, the actor, and the character, is that the character has to do a lot of different things. So I play football, and I write poetry, and I'm an actor, and I'm smart in the classroom. I can do it all. And it's difficult to live that life because you aren't one thing.
Right.
But it brings you to this role.
It does.
Now, Omari, so you're a football
And there was no other role.
player.
I never
No
had
role.
another role like this in life. I mean, no.
One role that everybody's familiar with. Before we go on, Being Mary Jane, you did an amazing job in
thank
that.
you.
Wait,
as
no,
well.
before that, we have to ask, because there are a lot of women on set
Oh, of
today.
course. Important information.
Surprise,
Shout out
surprise.
to the women in
To the
life.
ladies.
There's about
in the
20
house.
of them right behind the cameras here.
We are all here because of a woman.
Yes.
All of us are present because of women.
Yes, very true, very
Are
true.
you single? Are you available? What's the
I'm not
deal?
available.
You're not available.
I'm not available.
And there's a mass exodus.
I'm available for hugs and flirting. There's nothing wrong with flirting.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No. Not at all.
Oh, okay
Right?
then. Am I in between? Do I need to step up or something? Like
Move,
move,
get
I
out of
move. Well, let me finish the interview and
see
then we'll
what
move. Like,
It's
swing
my
on
chair
around. There you
turn.
go. So can we expect any more appearances in Being Mary Jane?
Yes.
I don't
Season
know
two's
if
right
I
around
don't
the corner.
know if I would have the faith and the trust in my GM and my showrunner and my creator and Courtney Kemp Agboh if I was moonlighting with a character so complex. I don't know how you can play this guy and then go and flirt. Let's keep it in with that word. I don't know how you can go and flirt with another character. I mean, this guy, I needed all. Bryan Cranston, we didn't see him while he was working on Breaking Bad.
That's a good point.
That's all he did.
You're right.
And to me, to take this as serious as I need to take it, I have to very much maintain my dedication to this, brother.
Good point. So we'll just have to catch you on Stars then.
All good.
Yeah.
I like that.
All good.
Yeah.
Reruns on BT
Saturday.
and Stars.
There you go.
Absolutely. June 7th.
Courtney, quickly, what's next for you?
This is what I'm doing.
I got you, girl.
What's next is, I hope, season 2.
And 3 and 4.
Exactly. And trying to, you know, make more stuff for this guy to do.
All right.
All right,
You know
we'll
what I mean?
definitely be looking out for it more, and we'll catch it this Saturday.
June
7
7th.
p.m.
June 7th.
9 p.m. on
9
Stars.
p.m. on Stars.
9 p.m. on Stars. Thank you both so much for joining
Good to
us.
see you again.
Good to see you,
Nice
too.
to meet you, brother.
And you're watching Rise Entertainment 360.